Sundar Pichai was born and raised in Chennai, a bustling city in southern India known for its rich culture and history. But his life began in a very simple home, far from the glitz and glamour many might imagine for someone who would one day become the CEO of one of the world's biggest companies. His family lived in a small apartment on a quiet street. The building wasn't fancy. It was the kind of place where neighbors knew each other's names, where the smell of home-cooked food floated through open windows, and where life was filled with small joys rather than big luxuries. His father, Raghunatha Pichai, was an electrical engineer working for a government company. Though his job was steady, it did not pay very much. Every month he carefully planned the family budget to make sure that all the basic needs were met: food, school fees, electricity bills. Money was tight, but the family never went hungry. Sundar's mother, Lakshmi, was a stenographer, a job that required her to type and take dictation in an office. She was a strong woman, calm and patient, with a quiet smile that could light up a room. She took care of the house and the children with love and dedication. Though she didn't have much education herself, she believed strongly that education was the key to a better future. In those days, the family didn't even have a telephone at home. The only way to make a call was to go to a nearby public phone booth, which was often crowded and noisy. They didn't own a car either. Sundar's father would walk to work or take a bus, sometimes even a shared auto rickshaw, which was common in Chennai. Despite these hardships, the family was content. Their happiness came from the small things: Sunday outings to the park, homemade meals prepared with care, and evenings spent talking and laughing together. Sundar was the youngest in the family, and from a young age, it was clear he was different. He was curious about everything. While other children played outside, Sundar often sat quietly reading books, fascinated by the world beyond his neighborhood. His parents encouraged his curiosity, though they couldn't always buy him the books he wanted. They would take him to the public library where he spent hours flipping through pages of science and technology magazines. Even at a young age, Sundar dreamed of doing something big, something that would make a difference. School was not easy for him in the beginning. The classrooms were crowded, the teachers sometimes harsh, and the resources limited. But Sundar had a sharp mind and an incredible work ethic. He studied late into the night, often using a small lamp to read his textbooks after everyone else had gone to sleep. His mother would check on him quietly, proud but worried about his health. She made sure he ate well and got enough rest, even though she herself was often tired from long hours at work. The family didn't have much money for extra tuition or coaching classes, which many other children in their city took to improve their grades. Sundar's success was mostly because of his own determination and the encouragement of his parents. His father, though busy with his own work, would sometimes help Sundar with math problems. Lakshmi would remind him that no matter how tough things got, education was the one thing no one could take away from him. These words stayed with Sundar all his life. Their home was filled with love but also with discipline. Sundar's parents taught him the value of honesty, kindness, and respect for others. They never treated anyone as less important, no matter their social status or wealth. This humble attitude was deeply ingrained in Sundar, shaping the way he would later treat people in his own life and career. As Sundar grew older, his academic achievements became remarkable. He scored top marks in his school exams and won scholarships to attend better schools. Each time he succeeded, his parents felt a quiet pride that was sometimes difficult to express. They didn't have the money to celebrate with lavish parties, but the joy in their hearts was unmistakable. Sundar's mother, especially, saw in her son's success a fulfillment of all her sacrifices and hopes. At home, Lakshmi continued to live a simple life. She wore plain cotton saris, often the same ones she had for years. She never cared about fashion or trends. To her, beauty was in hard work and character, not in expensive clothes or jewelry. Her hands were often busy, cooking, cleaning, sewing patches on Sundar's old clothes. but her eyes shone with pride whenever she talked about her son. The family's modest lifestyle also meant that Sundar learned early the value of money. He knew that every rupee spent had a story behind it. Hours of work by his parents, sacrifices they made so he could have a better future. This understanding made him careful and humble. He was never tempted by material things. Instead, he focused on learning and growing. Sundar's childhood was not without challenges. Sometimes there were power cuts that made studying difficult. Sometimes the monsoon rains flooded the streets outside their apartment, making it hard to go to school. But none of these obstacles stopped him. His mother often told him stories of Indian leaders and scientists who had overcome bigger hardships to achieve greatness. These stories inspired him to keep going. The family's close-knit nature also gave Sundar emotional strength. His parents taught him to respect his elders, to be kind to neighbors, and to help those in need. They often invited relatives and friends to their small home, sharing whatever food they had. Sundar learned that true wealth was not in things, but in relationships and values. As Sundar approached his teenage years, his talents became even more visible. Teachers noticed his intelligence and calm leadership. He was not the loudest or the most outgoing, but he was dependable, thoughtful, and always willing to help classmates. His friends admired him for his humility and kindness. Though the family was proud of his achievements, they also worried about the future. Higher education was expensive, and they knew that sending Sundar abroad for studies would be a huge financial strain. Lakshmi often stayed up late calculating expenses, wondering how they would manage. But they never expressed doubts to Sundar. Instead, they encouraged him to aim high and assured him that they would do everything possible to support him. Sundar's parents' sacrifices went beyond money. Lakshmi gave up many comforts to ensure her children could have better opportunities. She rarely took time for herself, dedicating all her energy to the family. Her love was quiet but deep, a constant presence that gave Sundar strength through difficult times. This foundation of love, discipline, and hard work shaped Sundar's character. It gave him not only the skills but the mindset to dream big. He carried the lessons of his childhood with him: humility, patience, respect, and above all, the belief that success was meant to be shared, not flaunted. Looking back, Sundar often credits his mother as his biggest inspiration. She was the silent force behind his success, the one who never gave up on him or his dreams. Though their home was small and simple, it was full of hope and determination. A place where a boy from Chennai could learn to dream of changing the world. Sundar Pichai's life took a big turn after he finished his studies in India. His remarkable intelligence and hard work earned him a place at one of the most prestigious engineering institutes in India, the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT, Kharagpur. This was a dream come true not only for Sundar, but also for his parents, who had sacrificed so much to see their son succeed. At IIT, Sundar was introduced to a world that was different from his modest upbringing. The campus was large, with students from all over India, each with unique talents and ambitions. The competition was tough, but Sundar did not feel intimidated. Instead, he was excited to learn and grow. At IIT, Sundar chose metallurgical engineering. It was not an easy subject, but he enjoyed the challenge. He had always been fascinated by how things worked, by the science behind materials and technology. His professors noticed his dedication and encouraged him to explore beyond textbooks. Sundar spent many late nights in the library, reading research, papers, and solving difficult problems. Even when the pressure was high, he remained calm and focused. His friends admired his determination and kindness. He was never boastful about his knowledge. Instead, he used it to help others. Life at IIT also taught Sundar important lessons about teamwork and leadership. Many projects required working with classmates from different backgrounds, some richer, some poorer, but all eager to learn. Sundar was naturally good at bringing people together, listening to different ideas, and finding solutions that worked for everyone. These skills, though small then, would become vital later in his career. After completing his degree at IIT, Sundar was accepted to Stanford University in the United States for a master's degree in material sciences and engineering. This was a huge opportunity but also a challenge. Leaving India meant stepping into a new culture, a new country, and a very different academic environment. Sundar's parents were proud but worried. They had never traveled abroad and had little knowledge of life outside India. The expenses were high, and the responsibility felt heavy on Sundar's shoulders, but he was determined to make the most of it. At Stanford, Sundar faced many adjustments. The classes were advanced, the expectations higher, and the competition fierce. Many of his classmates came from wealthy families with access to the latest technology and resources. Sundar's background was simple. He didn't have fancy gadgets or designer clothes, but his intelligence and work ethic helped him keep up and even excel. He spent hours in labs, experimenting and learning from professors who were experts in their fields. The environment was stimulating, and Sundar loved the challenge. However, it wasn't easy being far from home. Sundar missed his family, his mother's cooking, and the familiar sounds of Chennai. He often felt lonely in the beginning. The cultural differences were also noticeable. At times, he felt like an outsider. There were moments when he wondered if he truly belonged in this new world. But he reminded himself of the sacrifices his parents had made and pushed forward. Sundar's humility and calm nature helped him make friends from all over the world. He didn't try to impress anyone with wealth or status. Instead, he focused on building genuine connections based on respect and kindness. His friends appreciated his honesty and intelligence. He was known for being thoughtful and always willing to help. While at Stanford, Sundar also took an MBA from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. This helped him understand business and leadership better. It was important for him to learn not just technology, but also how companies worked, how to make decisions, and how to lead teams. This education prepared him for the future challenges he would face in the corporate world. After finishing his studies, Sundar started his career at Google in 2004. At that time, Google was already a well-known company, but it was still growing and innovating rapidly. Sundar joined as a product manager, working on the Google Toolbar, a tool that helped people use the internet more easily. His work impressed his bosses because he was smart, reliable, and thoughtful. He understood users' needs and helped make products that millions of people loved. Despite his growing success, Sundar remained humble. He remembered his roots and the struggles of his family. He did not let his new life in Silicon Valley change who he was inside. He lived simply, avoided flashy displays of wealth, and always treated everyone with respect, whether they were interns or senior executives. Life in Silicon Valley was very different from Chennai. The city was fast-paced, full of bright minds, and cutting-edge technology. Sundar enjoyed being part of this dynamic world, but he never forgot the values his parents taught him. He often thought about his mother and father, how their sacrifices made his success possible. He wanted to make them proud and also help others who came from humble beginnings. As Sundar climbed the ranks at Google, he worked on many important projects. He led the development of Google Chrome, a web browser that soon became the most popular in the world. His vision and leadership helped the company grow even bigger. Yet, he was never arrogant. He believed in teamwork and always gave credit to others. His style was calm, kind, and effective. Sundar's rise to success was also a story of balancing two worlds: his traditional Indian upbringing and the modern, fast-moving tech industry in America. This balance made him unique. He brought a different perspective to Silicon Valley, reminding people of the importance of patience, respect, and humility. Though Sundar now lived in a world of luxury and influence, his family remained close to him. Whenever possible, he stayed connected with his parents and siblings. He visited India regularly and shared his achievements quietly with his mother, who remained as humble as ever. She never cared about the fame or money. For her, Sundar's happiness and integrity were the real rewards. Sundar's story during these years was not just about personal success. It was also about hope and inspiration for millions of young people around the world. He showed that no matter where you come from, with hard work, kindness, and strong values, you can achieve great things. His journey from a small apartment in Chennai to the heart of Silicon Valley was proof that dreams could come true. Yet, beneath the surface of success, Sundar remained grounded. He knew that life was more than titles and wealth. The lessons from his mother, the quiet strength of his family, and the memories of simpler days kept him humble. These values shaped the leader he became, one who believed in giving back and lifting others up. Sundar's story was still unfolding, but this chapter, from India to the US, from student to tech leader, was a remarkable journey of courage, learning, and heart. It was a journey that reminded everyone that true success is not just about reaching the top, but about staying true to oneself and remembering where you came from. After years of hard work and success in the United States, Sundar Pichai reached a stage in his life when he wanted to share his world with the people who mattered most, his parents. For Sundar, his parents were the foundation of everything he had achieved. Without their sacrifices, love, and values, he would not have become the person he was. So when Sundar invited his parents to visit the US for the first time, it was a moment full of excitement and emotion. His parents had lived their entire lives in Chennai, surrounded by the familiar sights and sounds of their hometown. The thought of traveling thousands of miles to a foreign land was both thrilling and intimidating for them. They had heard about America from stories and movies, but had never imagined they would actually go there. When the invitation came, they prepared carefully, packing their simple clothes and small belongings, not knowing exactly what to expect. The journey itself was a big adventure. For the first time, they flew on a plane, crossed oceans, and saw cities from the sky. When they landed in the US, everything seemed new and strange. The tall buildings, the busy streets, and the different language. But Sundar was there to welcome them, making sure they felt comfortable and cared for. During their visit, Sundar took his parents to many important places. He showed them the Google campus, where he worked every day. His parents were amazed to see the large, colorful offices filled with talented people and cutting-edge technology. Sundar explained the projects he was working on, and though they did not understand all the details, they felt proud of their son's accomplishments. Sundar also wanted his parents to experience the beauty of California. They visited parks, museums, and scenic spots. Lakshmi, Sundar's mother, was especially touched by the kindness of strangers and the clean, green environment. She enjoyed tasting new foods and seeing the ocean for the first time. Yet, despite all the wonders, she remained humble and quiet, never seeking attention or luxury. One day, Sundar decided to take his mother to a luxury store in San Francisco. He wanted to buy her something special as a gift, a symbol of his love and gratitude. The store was filled with beautiful handbags, designer clothes, and shiny accessories. It was a place that represented wealth and style, very different from the simple shops back home in Chennai. Lakshmi entered the store wearing her plain cotton sari, carrying herself with quiet dignity. She looked around with curiosity but did not touch anything. The sales staff noticed her immediately. They looked at her clothes and her simple manner and made quick judgments. One of the clerks, without speaking directly to her, hinted that the items were very expensive, as if suggesting she couldn't afford them. Another staff member kept watching her closely, as if worried she might take something without paying. Lakshmi was confused and hurt. She had never experienced such treatment before. In Chennai, people were warm and welcoming, even if they were poor. Here, in this luxurious store, she felt out of place, not because she wanted something she couldn't afford, but simply because of how she was seen by others. She quietly left the store, feeling a mixture of sadness and embarrassment. When Sundar returned and learned what had happened, he was silent for a moment. Then, without anger or confrontation, he took his mother's hand and walked back into the store. The staff recognized him instantly. He was the Google executive, a well-known figure. Suddenly, their attitudes changed. They greeted him warmly, offering help and showing the best products. But Sundar did not want their attention for himself. He only wanted his mother to be treated with respect. Sundar calmly led his mother out of the store without buying anything. That moment stayed with him. It was a powerful reminder that even success and fame could not erase prejudice and judgment based on appearances. For Sundar, this incident was not just about a luxury store. It was about dignity, respect, and the invisible barriers that still exist in society. Back at their hotel, Sundar comforted his mother, telling her how proud he was of her strength and grace. Lakshmi smiled, saying she did not need fancy things or approval from strangers. What mattered most was family, love, and the values they had lived by. This experience deepened Sundar's understanding of the world. It showed him that despite his achievements, he had to remain humble and fight for inclusivity and kindness. During the rest of their visit, Sundar continued to introduce his parents to his world, but he also made sure they stayed away from places that might remind them of that painful moment. Lakshmi enjoyed simple walks, quiet dinners, and moments of peace. She remained the same humble woman, proud of her son, but never changing who she was. This visit was a turning point for Sundar. It strengthened his resolve to create a workplace and a world where people were judged by their talents and hearts, not by their clothes or backgrounds. He began focusing more on diversity and inclusion at Google, promoting respect for all employees, no matter where they came from or how they looked. The story of Sundar's mother at the luxury store spread quietly among close friends and colleagues. It became a symbol of the challenges many immigrants and simple people face, even in places of wealth and progress. Sundar never made it public, but the lesson was clear. Success should bring humility, not arrogance, kindness, not prejudice. For Lakshmi, the experience did not change her simple life. She continued to live modestly, wearing her favorite saris, cooking traditional meals, and supporting her family with love. But she carried a quiet pride in her heart. She knew that her son's kindness and leadership were making a difference in the world. Sundar often thought about that day. It reminded him of his own childhood in Chennai, the struggles his family faced, and the importance of treating everyone with respect. It was a moment that shaped his character and leadership style. He learned that true success was not just about reaching the top, but about lifting others up and breaking down barriers. This part of Sundar's life showed that no matter how far one travels or how high one climbs, the roots remain strong. His mother's experience was a reminder of the world's imperfections, but also of the power of love and dignity to overcome them. Sundar's journey was not only about technology and business, but about humanity and respect. The visit ended with many happy memories. Sundar's parents returned to Chennai with stories of a new land and a proud son. They carried the love and hope that had guided their family for generations. Sundar, meanwhile, returned to his work with renewed purpose, inspired by the lessons of that special trip. After Sundar Pichai's parents visited the United States, Sundar's life entered a new and exciting phase. His career at Google was growing quickly, and he was being trusted with more important projects. Sundar was not just an employee anymore. He was becoming a leader, someone who could guide teams, make big decisions, and shape the future of the company. But with this new responsibility came new challenges. Google was a huge company by now, and it was changing fast. Every day, millions of people around the world used Google's products like Search, Chrome, Gmail, and YouTube. These products affected lives in many ways. Sundar knew that the work he did had a huge impact. He felt proud but also responsible. If something went wrong, many people would be affected. Sundar was given the task to lead the development of Google Chrome, a web browser that would compete with other popular browsers like Internet Explorer and Firefox. It was a big challenge because people were used to the browsers they had, and changing their habits was not easy. But Sundar believed that Chrome could be better, faster, simpler, and more secure. He worked hard with his team, encouraging innovation and listening to new ideas. The process was not smooth. There were many technical problems to solve. Some team members wanted to add more features, while others thought the browser should stay simple. Sundar's role was to balance these opinions, keep the team focused, and move forward. His calm and patient leadership helped the team stay motivated, even during long nights of work and tight deadlines. Chrome was launched in 2008, and soon it became very popular. People liked its speed and ease of use. Google's success with Chrome showed Sundar's ability to lead a complex project and deliver great results. It was one of the biggest successes in his career so far. But Sundar did not stop there. He wanted to do more. As Google continued to grow, Sundar was given more responsibilities. He started managing other products like Google Drive, Google Maps, and Android. Each of these products was important in its own way, and Sundar had to learn new skills to manage them effectively. He focused on understanding what users wanted and how technology could make life easier. Sundar was known for his quiet but effective leadership style. Unlike some leaders who were loud and aggressive, Sundar was humble and approachable. He believed in teamwork and collaboration. He often listened carefully before making decisions and encouraged his team to share their ideas freely. His kindness and respect for others created a positive work environment. Despite his growing fame, Sundar remained grounded. He often thought about his mother and the values she taught him. He remembered the experience of his mother in the luxury store, which reminded him of the importance of humility and respect for all people. These lessons influenced the way he treated his colleagues and employees. Around this time, Google faced some tough challenges. The company was criticized for issues like privacy concerns, data security, and monopoly in the tech industry. Sundar had to navigate these complex problems carefully. He understood that technology could bring great benefits but also had risks. He worked with his teams to improve security and transparency, trying to build trust with users. Sundar's leadership was tested when Google restructured its business under a new parent company called Alphabet in 2015. This was a major change. Alphabet would oversee Google and many other smaller companies working on different technologies. Sundar was named CEO of Google, one of the most important roles in the tech world. This was a moment of pride, but also huge responsibility. As CEO, Sundar had to balance many different interests: employees, users, investors, and governments. He needed to keep Google innovative while also addressing ethical questions and social responsibilities. His decisions would affect billions of people. Sundar was aware of the weight on his shoulders but faced it with calm and determination. One of Sundar's priorities was to make technology accessible and useful for everyone. He believed that the benefits of technology should reach all corners of the world, including people in rural areas and developing countries. Under his leadership, Google worked on projects like internet access in remote regions and tools for education. Sundar saw technology as a tool for empowerment. Sundar also paid attention to diversity and inclusion within Google. He knew that having different perspectives and backgrounds made the company stronger and more creative. He encouraged hiring women, people of different races and cultures, and those with disabilities. This was important to Sundar because of his own experiences growing up in a humble home and facing biases. Even with all his success, Sundar remained a private person. He did not seek the spotlight or flashy lifestyle. He lived modestly, focused on his family, and enjoyed simple pleasures like reading and spending time with his wife and children. His humility inspired many people who saw him as a role model. At Google, Sundar worked hard to create a culture where everyone felt valued and motivated. He believed that leaders should serve their teams, listen to their concerns, and help them grow. This servant leadership approach earned him respect and loyalty from his employees. During this period, Sundar's leadership helped Google launch many new products and improve existing ones. Google Assistant, artificial intelligence features, and cloud computing services all grew under his guidance. Sundar saw the future of technology in AI and smart devices and invested heavily in research. However, the path was not always smooth. Sundar faced criticism from some employees and activists who felt Google should take stronger stands on social and political issues. He had to balance the company's business interests with the values it wanted to represent. Sometimes, these issues were difficult to manage, but Sundar handled them thoughtfully. Sundar's approach to leadership was a mix of vision, empathy, and humility. He showed that a quiet, thoughtful leader could guide a huge company successfully without losing sight of human values. His story inspired many young people, especially from India and other developing countries, showing that with dedication and integrity, they too could reach great heights. Throughout all this, Sundar never forgot the lessons from his mother and his childhood. He remembered the small apartment in Chennai, the hard work of his parents, and the dignity they carried. These memories kept him grounded and motivated to use his success to help others. Sundar's leadership was a story of blending cultures and values, Indian humility and American innovation. This blend made him unique and effective. He respected tradition, but embraced change. He valued hard work, but also cared deeply for people. His life was proof that true leadership is not about power or fame, but about service, respect, and vision. In this part of his journey, Sundar grew from a talented engineer to a global leader, someone who shaped the future of technology and inspired millions. His story showed that success comes not only from skills, but from character, values, and the courage to face challenges with grace. As Sundar Pichai continued to lead Google, his influence grew beyond just technology and business. He became a symbol of hope and inspiration, especially for young people from India and other developing countries. His journey from a small home in Chennai to the helm of one of the world's biggest tech companies was a powerful story that showed what determination, humility, and hard work could achieve. Even though Sundar had reached the top of his career, he remained deeply connected to his roots. His family was always important to him, especially his mother. The lessons she taught him about kindness, patience, and dignity were guiding lights in his life. Sundar often thought about how different his life could have been if his mother had not raised him with those values. He knew her sacrifices had paved the way for his success. One of the most important things Sundar did as a leader was to focus on giving back. He understood that with great power came great responsibility. He wanted to use Google's resources and influence to make the world a better place. Under his leadership, Google increased its efforts in sustainability, education, and social causes. Sundar was passionate about education because he knew how powerful learning had been for him. He wanted children everywhere to have the chance to study, grow, and dream big. Google invested in programs that helped schools get internet access and digital tools. Sundar often spoke about how technology could open doors and create opportunities for those who had been left behind. Sundar also cared deeply about sustainability. He understood that technology could both help and harm the planet. He pushed Google to invest in clean energy and reduce its carbon footprint. The company worked on making its data centers more energy efficient and committed to running entirely on renewable energy. Sundar believed that protecting the environment was essential for future generations. Despite his busy schedule, Sundar made time for family and personal growth. He was a loving husband and father, enjoying moments of quiet with his wife and children. These moments reminded him of the simple joys in life, the laughter of children, family meals, and stories shared at the end of the day. Sundar valued these things more than fame or wealth. As Google continued to innovate, Sundar faced new challenges. Technology was evolving quickly, and questions about privacy, ethics, and artificial intelligence became more urgent. Sundar took these issues seriously. He wanted Google to be a responsible company that respected users' rights and protected their data. He worked with experts and policymakers to create fair guidelines and ensure that new technologies were used ethically. In the public eye, Sundar was often asked about his leadership style. He described himself as someone who listens more than he speaks. He believed in leading by example and supporting his teams. Sundar's quiet confidence and humility earned respect worldwide. Many admired his ability to stay calm under pressure and make thoughtful decisions. Sundar's story inspired many young people, especially those from humble backgrounds. He showed that it was possible to dream big and achieve great things without forgetting one's roots. His life was proof that success was not just about talent, but also about values, hard work, and perseverance. At the same time, Sundar was aware of the challenges faced by immigrants and people from underprivileged communities. He used his platform to speak about diversity and inclusion, encouraging companies to create opportunities for everyone. He believed that diverse teams were stronger and more innovative. Sundar's leadership also reflected the changing world of technology. He embraced new ideas like artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and machine learning. Under his guidance, Google invested heavily in these areas, aiming to create tools that could help people in everyday life, from voice assistants to health diagnostics. Despite all the achievements, Sundar remained modest. He rarely spoke about himself in interviews and often gave credit to his teams and mentors. He believed that leadership was about serving others, not seeking attention. This attitude made him a respected figure not only in the tech world, but also in global leadership circles. As years passed, Sundar's influence extended beyond Google. He became a voice in discussions about technology's role in society, ethics, and global development. He participated in forums, advised governments, and supported initiatives that aimed to harness technology for good. Looking back, Sundar's journey was remarkable. From a young boy in Chennai who loved science and reading, to a global tech leader, his path was filled with challenges, learning, and growth. The story of his mother being rejected at a luxury store became a symbol of his deep understanding of humility and respect. It reminded him that true success was not just about money or power, but about how one treats others. In the end, Sundar Pichai's life was a blend of tradition and modernity, ambition and kindness, success and humility. He showed that with determination, values, and hard work, one could rise above circumstances and make a positive impact on the world. His story continues to inspire millions, proving that dreams can come true and that leadership is most powerful when it is compassionate and inclusive.